This page is a worksheet. It's in the packet. It says lesson 7.5, real world problems, algebraic expressions. This goes along with standard EE5. I'd like to do this video and kind of do this particular page with you. So the first example, solve and show your work. Daniel's house is located B miles from his school. So they're telling us his house is B miles from his school. The swimming pool is 3 miles further from his school. His doctor's office is 4 miles less than twice the distance from home to Daniel's school. So they give us a lot of clues there that can be kind of confusing. So we've got to kind of have to write steps out to help us. Part A says write an expression that shows the distance from Daniel's house to the swimming pool. So what do we know? We know from his house to the school is B miles. That's the first thing it says. So you could write house to school, and that's the one that is B miles. We know the swimming pool is 3 miles further from his school. So if you were kind of looking at that, the swimming pool would be over here. Swimming pool would be 3 miles further. So further means like you're adding. So B miles was just to get from his house to the school. So you would have another 3 miles to get to the pool. So if we're writing an expression that shows from his house to the pool, you have B miles plus the 3 to get to the pool. So you would just say B plus 3 miles, and that's how you would write that. It's kind of like your apples and your orange. You can't really add them together to make it worth anything. You don't even know what B stands for. That's just all you're writing. Part B says write an expression that shows the distance from his house to the doctor's office. So you need to look at the last clue. The doctor's office is 4 miles less than twice the distance from home to school. So 4 miles less, we need to know that less means 4 miles less, that means subtracting, but it's less than twice the distance from home to school. And twice really means 2 times. So if you're going twice the distance, you would take 2 times. Now, what was the distance from his home to school? Remember, his house to school was B. So it'd be 2 times B, and a way to write that is 2 next to a B. So that's twice the distance, but it was 4 miles less than that. So 4 miles less than this means you would have to subtract 4 from that, because it's 4 miles less than twice the distance. So then you could just add the word miles on here. 2B minus 4 miles for his house to the doctor's office. Part C goes on to say, well, what if B equals 3, which is nice because we actually want to know what B is. Is the swimming pool or the doctor's office closer to Daniel's house? So you have to put 3 in here to figure out the doctor's office, and you also have to put 3 in up here to figure out if the swimming pool or the doctor's office, depending on which one is, what's it say, closer to his house. So if we put in a 3 up here in this one, you would have 3 plus 3, which equals 6 miles from his house to the pool. So you know that one. And if we put in 3 right here, this was his house to the doctor's office. So what happens when you put a 3 right there? That means 2 times 3. That gives us, what, 6? And then we still have to bring down and subtract 4. So this one is 2 miles from his house to the doctor's office. So if you actually solve them, which one's closer to his house? The doctor's office from his house to the doctor's office is 2 miles, and from his house to the pool is 6 miles. So the doctor's office is closer, and how much closer is the second question? How much closer is this than that? So it's like you're looking at the difference between these. Difference means you need to subtract 6 minus 2. It is 4 miles closer for that. So doctor's office is closer by 4 miles. The next example, they're not using B. They say Casey can knit 6 M doll dresses in 2 hours. So this is actually a ratio they just gave you. 6M, that's the amount of doll dresses, and they then do that in 2 hours. So that's kind of like the ratio they give you. You don't really know what M stands for, you just know 6M doll dresses in 2 hours. Could you write an expression that shows the number of doll dresses Casey can knit in 5 hours? And it's of course in terms of M because we don't really know what M is, so we have to answer it with an M. So we know what Casey can do in 2 hours. Some people could set this up with cross products. Some people might want to find the hourly rate first. If you can do 6M in 2 hours, then what could you do in 1 hour? Some people see that that would be 3M in 1 hour. It's like, oh, we could use the rate to help us. And from the rate, could you figure out, well, then how many M's would it be for, what was it, 5 hours? And in 5 hours, and some people see that you can take this times 5, so you take this one times 5 to get, what is that, 15M, what would you call that, doll dresses in 5 hours. Other people have solved this in the past and they don't even find the rate. They set 6M in 2. They figure out how many that is in 5. If you remember, we solved that before. I'll solve it right here. 6M was in 2 hours. So then if you figure out how many M's that is in 5 hours, you could solve cross product. 6 times 5. The 2 across you have is 30. Divide by 2, and that's where you get the 15M in the 5 hours. The cross products method. Sorry, you couldn't see that. Let me move that up a little bit. Then they go on here to part B, and most people like this. So what if M equals 7? Then how many doll dresses could Casey knit in 5 hours? So what if M equals 7? So this was 15 next to an M for 5 hours. This was 15 next to an M in 5 hours. So what if M equals 7? And you put that in right here or right here. I don't care which one you put it in for. 15 next to a 7. So you would need to take 15 times 7. That equals 105 doll dresses in 5 hours. So you really have to use the clues to help you when you're solving these. Turn it to the back and we'll work on the back. The back one we actually have done before. If you paid attention in your notes, you actually have some of these. So Mario collected 3G seashells. Jasmine collected 10 more seashells than Mario. Can you write the number of seashells they collected together in terms of G? This one's in your notes. Instead of Jasmine, I think we changed it. I don't know if it was Luigi or Yoshi or somebody we changed it to. So you kind of want to write down, what do you have, what do you know? You know that Mario has 3G, whatever that stands for. That's 3G seashells. And then what's Jasmine? She collects 10 more than Mario. So what's 10 more than 3G? 10 more means to add. But you have 3G, you just have to add 10 to that. This is apples and oranges. You can't combine it. So Jasmine collects 3G and then plus 10 seashells. So then if you want to write what they collect together, you have to add these all together in terms of G, because we don't know what G stands for. So if you add Mario and Jasmine, that's 3G plus 3G plus 10. And if you combine your 3G plus another 3G, combine your apples, that's 6G, and then you just have a plus 10. That is just a number. There's no G with it. What's that? 6G plus 10 seashells would be what they collect together. Why? You have to add what they have together. So it helps to kind of write what you know about each person there. The next one is also kind of in your notes, except for I changed the name to Marcy in our notes. Bought a box of markers for B dollars, so the markers were B. The shoulder bag that cost twice as much as the box of markers. Twice as much means 2 times. And then a pen that costs 6 less than, that means minus 6, the shoulder bag. Can you write the cost of the pen in terms of B? And it's kind of confusing because we don't know what B is. So in terms of B, what's the cost of the pen? So you kind of have to go back through. What do the markers cost? What's the next thing? The shoulder bag. And then the next thing, the pen. And if you write each part out, it'll make it easier to solve. The markers were B dollars. The bag, what was the clue for the bag? It was twice as much, so that's 2 times B or 2B dollars. And then the pen's clue was 6 less than the shoulder bag. So what was the shoulder bag? The bag was 2B. 6 less than that means you subtract 6 from it. Dollars, and that's it for the pen. 2B minus 6 because it said 6 less than it, so you have to take what the bag was and then take 6 away. And we are actually going to stop there. We are not going to do